very wisely keeping aloof. The parties decide, the committee of 50 is not under his influence. That's why
Definitely.
Said Badawi refused to go, or apologized going, so that he is not being directed by the president.
Yes.
This committee is independent.
Yes.
And the president is very wise being aloof.
And what about the system? What is the political party's demand for the system? Do you want a presidential system or a parliamentarian system where the authorities will belong more to the parliament rather than the president?
I would say a mixed system again for Egypt. This period of its life is a must. If it is just parliamentarian, you saw the last parliament.
Yes.
How very low performance it was.
And when you say mixed, you mean that the authorities will be distributed between both?
Exactly, like the French de Gaulle system. Strong presidential institution and strong parliament.
Yeah, but indeed you understand that usually in a mixed system, there is always the upper hand eventually.
Well, if it is balanced, then I don't worry. But now if you give total presidential, you are making another Mubarak or another, what shall I say, I wouldn't say Morsi because that's a different story completely, or another Nasser. But when it's split, so then I'm more, at least for this period of Egyptian history, later on it can develop to a complete parliamentarian system as it was in 1924.
And that's what Al-Wafd is aiming for, to have it a parliamentarian system?
Not now, in the long run maybe.
In the long run?
Yes.
This is what
like 1924, it was a parliamentarian system.
Yes.
And you saw how much the election was rigged, how much the attack from the executive and from the British colonial authority on the system. It's not a question of names, it's a question of practice.
One of the objective things that Amr Musa, the head of the 50-member committee drafting the constitution, said that they are looking at mechanisms to remove or depose any president in a peaceful manner. So how do you think, in your opinion,
remove what?
In a systematic and a peaceful manner, a way within the constitution to depose any president who's not performing or is up to the expectations of Egyptians?
Well, it's already suggested that 10 parliament members can ask for re-election of a president. 1/3 of the parliament can decide for a re-election. There is no problem. This is a safeguard. When the president knows that 1/3 of the parliament could remove him, he will think twice before equanizing the state.
Don't you think 1/3 is a little bit of a tough number, knowing that we are currently living in a stage where there are a lot of different segments, political segments in Egypt?
No, but I mean, you cannot also give 1/10 the right to remove a president every other day.
I meant more. I meant half.
1/3 will be voted. I mean,
yes.
You didn't get the rest of the article. 1/3 is to suggest.
Okay.
And the majority will decide whether or not.
That makes more sense.
Yes.
That makes more sense. Yes. Going back to the part where you were speaking, we don't want to go back to the old days where the elections are rigged. And now there is an ongoing discussion about the return of the Freedom and Justice Party and also the return of the National Democratic Party. How do you think they fit today in the political arena?
Freedom and the Democratic Party or any religious party is out of the question. This state, whether or not, will remain a civil state. It has taken 200 years since Muhammad Ali the Great to be established. And no power will dismantle it for a theological dictatorship. We have seen in 1 year what a theological dictatorship could make.
Yes.
If those people stayed 2 years, there would have been no Egypt.
Yes.
Sinai would have gone to Gaza, and Halab and Shalatin to Sudan, and maybe Marsa Matruh to Libya, and no more Egypt.
Yes.
And I'm very, very happy to read that the map of Egypt will be printed as a first page in the Constitution. This holy map cannot be tampered with.
Yes.
No mercy, no Anybody can.
But don't you think if we excluded, or it has been an exclusion phase of the Islamic background parties like Noor, Al-Wasat and the Freedom Justice Party, which contributed to around 70% of the previous parliament, don't you think this is forcing their supporters to be moving towards other political parties? It's not by choice?
If they practice politics without a religious agenda, by all means and welcome. The majority of the tens of thousands of Brotherhood youth, the brainwashed victims of Morsi and his likes, can join any political process. Definitely, they are not going to be banned. But you are not going to have a religious agenda. That's what I mean.
Yes.
You can pray, we all pray, but we don't impose the agenda. There is no such thing as Muslim ruling system.
And how do you evaluate Al-Noor party today?
He's playing, I wouldn't say a very intelligent game. It's not a very intelligent game because he's there thinking that he inherited the religious trend. Now that the religious trend is no more allowed, he said, I will withdraw. I don't know what. It's not a very intelligent game, with all due respect to the members.
Do you think the liberal parties are drinking from the same cup that they used to drink when they had the same opposition in the Constituent Assembly previously, and they withdrew from the Constituent Assembly? Do you think this will be happening?
Sure. All parties on the arena now, with all due respect, liberal and leftist and, are the product of 60 years of dictatorship. The WAFD of today is no more the WAFD of 1919.
That's true.
The leftist party of today is no more the leftist party of the 40s. It has to be re-established, and my confidence is back to the youth who led this revolution. I happened to be 2 years ago invited by the European Parliament for a session. I was one of 18. 15 of them was your age or younger, and only 3 are my dinosaur time. I was so impressed how those boys and girls were educated, were broad-minded, saw the future better than I did. We are not going to hinder. They own the future. They are not going to follow us. We can be their consultants. We can be anything, but not their guide.
Yes. We hope also WAFD party, like you mentioned, it has been a veteran in the political game for a very long time, and
we have a lot of youth in WAFD party that we are pushing them to take the lead. Youth. And they are nasty with us sometimes.
And when do you expect the transformation would happen, where we see the WAFD party leading and taking good portion of the parliament in the upcoming parliament?
I would say WAFD would be 15 to 20% in this election.
Yes.
Because our inner building is not completed yet. We have 267 centers around Egypt, but we didn't work through the public. We were not allowed during the Mubarak era to work outside our premises. You want to make a conference in the premises? Yeah, but the premises cannot take more than 1,500. Well, that's enough. So you can't reach the public this way.
Yes, true. Finally, I'd like to thank you very much, Ahmed Al-Arabi. He's the Vice President of the WAFD Party. It has been a great pleasure to have you with us, and thank you for your insights.
As usual, it's my pleasure to be with my channel.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much, sir. Now let's move on for a very short break, and we'll be returning back for more.